Oh, and now it's definitely doing a thing. That's a little more of me than you might want. And I'm sub-vocalizing. Okay. Oh, look. Hi, wife. I was stalling for you, but you made it. Thanks for not bringing my baby. I guess it's time. Is it time? Sound people need anything else from me? No? Nick. Baharit. Puki chukshing metok dram rira blingshin yende gyempari sangye shingdu mikte uwargi jokon namdak shingla juparsho Idam Guru Radna Mandalakam Niryatayami Chedang Tsoki Choknam La Jangchu Bardu Dakni Kyabsuchi Daki Chushe Kipe Sunam Ki Drola Benshir Sangye Tuparsho Chidang Tsoki Choknam La Jangchu Bardu Dakni Kyabsuchi Daki Chushe Kipe Sonam Ki Drola Benshir Sangye Juparsho Chidang Tsoki Choknam La Jangchu Bardu Dakni Kyabsuchi Daki Chushe Kipe Sunam Ki Drola Penshir Sangye Chuparsho. Oh, hi guys. Okay. So this is the text we're doing. It's called Brief Essence of All Schools of Philosophy. This is installment number 2 of A Brief Essence of All Schools of Philosophy. That's the spirit. We can signal and wave to me when I'm brutalizing the translators. They don't have a clear path to get to me to slow me down when I've been naughty, so if you see them flailing and you want to alert me to it. Okay, so who was here for session 1 of this? All right, we're gonna lean heavily on you guys. Okay, so we did this thing at the beginning that we're gonna do at the beginning of this again, all right? So this is our chart, our key to all schools of philosophy for now, all right? There's a big fat division, okay, and then there are subdivisions. So we can divide all schools of philosophy into 2 biggest mainest groups, which are, anyone who was here last time? Yay, Earl wins. Yeah, Buddhist and non-Buddhist, okay? It's a Buddhist text, okay? So they're interested in who's Buddhist and who's non-Buddhist, okay? So that's the first thing they're going to discuss, and that's particularly central to our discussion today. But we'll get back there, okay? So within Buddhist and non-Buddhist, okay, Buddhist can be subdivided into, yeah, Mahayana and Hinayana. What about Vajrayana? That's a third one, right? Cheer, why not? Yeah, Vajrayana is part of Mahayana. Okay, we didn't put that up here, all right, but that's just for you extra smart folks. Pausing for translators, pausing. Okay. There are 4 classical schools. Well, let's talk quickly, and we're not going to do a lot of detail now, but there's a subdivision of non-Buddhist schools. We called them nihilists and eternalists. This is a classical English way of describing them, but you can think of them as the people who believe in stupid things they shouldn't, and the people who fail to believe in really cool things that they should. Okay? Nihilists and eternalists, but generally, okay? And we're going to cover that in more detail. So we've got Hinayana and Mahayana among the Buddhists, and then there are 4 great schools of Buddhism, okay, which are from the bottom. Vaibhashika is the lowest of the Hinayana schools, and then Sautrantika, and then Chittamatra, and then Madhyamika. Oh, well, you said Svatantrika, which is true. Okay, that's a subdivision of that school. So, as you see here, Mahayana and Hinayana each have a subdivision. So Hinayana gets split into the Vaibhashikas and the Sautrantikas. What's Vaibhashika in English? Yeah, the detailists. They had a big dreamy crush on a book called The Awesome Book About Details. So they got famous for being detailists because they loved that book so much, okay? And then the next school, Sautrantika, is what in English? Yeah. Yeah, sutras. In fact, Sautrantika, there's a rule of Sanskrit that I don't really understand, but the word sutra becomes sautra when you put it in this word. So they didn't want to study that book called The Awesome Book of Details that the detailists love so much. They just wanted to go back to studying the good old sutras, and so they became the sutrists or the sautrists or the Sautrantika. Okay? You got it. Okay. Greater Way divides into mind only and middle way. Cool. Okay. So what's the lower school of the Mahayana? The lower school of the Mahayana? Mind only. Good. What's the higher school of the Hinayana? Yeah, Sautrantika. What's the lower school of the Hinayana? Cool. You got it. Now, there's a subdivision of the higher school of the Mahayana. What's the higher school of the Mahayana again? Yeah, middle way. In Sanskrit? Yeah, Madhyamika. You got it. It's divided into? Yeah, Prasangika and Svatantrika. And we are going to be the room full of superstars that does not confuse Svatantrika, and Sautrantika. So one of them has the word sutra in it. You see, the sutrists, okay? The word sutra is not in the word Svatantrika, okay? Svatantrika means independent school. We're going to hit a really sexy thing in Nick's text soon about what it means that they're independent. It has something to do with the way they debate, as opposed to the way the other subdivision of the Madhyamika debates, which is using a technique called prasangika. Okay, cool. So what's the lower part of the Madhyamika school? Oh, Svatantrika. What's the higher part of the Madhyamika school? What's the higher part of the Hinayana school? Sautrantika. Okay, good. These are the famous guys from each school. All right? Master Vasubandhu, probably Gunaprabha also, okay, but we're saying Master Vasubandhu for now. Sometimes they call the detailist school the Abhidharma school, and he's like our favorite guy that we study from there, okay? So who is most closely associated with the detailist school for our purposes? Master Vasubandhu, okay? Who is most closely associated with the Sautrantika school? Master Dharmakirti, who is famous for writing the Pramanavartika, a text on logic, and that's why these guys sometimes get called the logic school, okay? Mind-only school is most commonly attributed to Master Asanga, who was, of course, taking dictation for Lord Maitreya, okay, who is an enlightened being or a 10th level bodhisattva, depending on who you ask. And then the Madhyamika school, the great innovator, they say, because they don't want to say he was an inventor. Lord Buddha invented all these schools, but Aryanagarjuna was an innovator of the, what school? Yeah, the middle way school, okay? And then there was some argument about how to interpret Aryanagarjuna properly amongst, most famously, these two guys, Master Chandrakirti and Master Bhaviviveka. Okay, so Master Bhaviviveka is the most famous guy for the independent school, Svatantrika, and Master Chandrakirti is the most famous guy for the Prasangika school. Cool. There are 5 great topics studied in the monastery. One is called vowed morality, okay, or Vinaya, and one is called higher knowledge, or Abhidharma, okay? When we're studying the detailists, okay, when we're dealing with Master Vasubandhu, okay, this is generally the topic we're in. When we're doing detailists, when we're doing Vaibhashika, okay, generally we're in one of these 2 topics. What topics? That's a book. We're in Abhidharma, higher knowledge, or vowed morality, Vinaya, okay, cool. When we're studying the Sautrantika school, Master Dharmakirti, what topic are we in? You could say logic. It's typically, in the monastery, they call it pramana, okay, or tsema, which means valid perception. What are you studying? Well, if Pramanavartika is the name of the book, when they talk about the topic, they just say, oh, studying Pramanavartika. And they will call these, okay, and this is tricky, they will call these the 5 great books, okay? Technically, there are books that underlie these books. We're going to show them to you, okay? So, vowed morality, Vinaya, okay, is one of the 5 great books. Technically, it's a topic more than it's a book, but we're going to talk about the book, okay? Higher knowledge, Abhidharma, okay? Master Vasubandhu. Valid perception, okay, attributed to Master Dharmakirti, Sautrantika school, okay? When we're studying the mind-only school, we tend to use a text that is not one of the 5 great books. It's sort of an extra topic, okay? Essence of Eloquence, right, Changye, okay? That topic is called Changye, right? Art of Interpretation. Next topic is called the Perfection of Wisdom. In the monastery, when we're studying the Perfection of Wisdom, we are in the Svatantrika Madhyamika school. Yeah, the Svatantrika, the lower middle way school. If someone says, oh, I'm studying Parchin, oh, I'm studying Perfection of Wisdom, they're in that school, okay? if someone says they're studying middle way, what you gotta know, they mean prasangika. Okay, if they're staying there in the monastery, oh, I'm studying middle way, they're not including Svatantrika. If they say they're studying middle way in the monastery, they're studying Chandrakirti. Here are those books, the actual books, okay? For vowed morality, there's the Vinaya Sutra, okay? Abhidharma, okay, higher knowledge, is the book that Peter mentioned already, which is the Abhidharma Kosha, okay, the treasure house of higher knowledge. When we're studying valid perception, we study the Pramana Vartika, okay, the commentary on Pramana, because it's a commentary on an older book called Pramana, all right? When we're studying the art of interpretation, for our purposes in our lineage, we use Jetsankappa's Essence of Eloquence, okay? When we're studying the perfection of wisdom, we study the Ornament of Realization, okay, Ngantok Kyem by Abhisamaya by who? Yeah, good, right, Maitreya, via the stenographer, the Asanga, okay? And then Madhyamaka Avatara, okay, or Madhyamika Avatara, the Entering the Middle Way, the great text by Master Chandrakirti. Okay, so those are the true 5 books. So sometimes people just refer to them by the topics. Oh, I'm studying middle way. Oh, you're studying Entering the Middle Way? Yeah, that's what I said, right? Oh, you're studying Perfection of Wisdom. Oh, cool. Oh, you mean the Abhisamaya Alankara. Right, yeah, that's the one, okay? So, if I wanted to get good at studying the, okay, yeah, I gotcha, thank you. I warned you this would happen. If I wanted to get good at studying the perspective of Vaibhashika, what ACI course would I go to? Five would do. What else? 9 would be super. Any others? It does say 8. And that's right. It should. I mean it too. Yeah, good. Right. Okay, so 5 is on what topic? Yeah, how karma works. Okay. 8 is on what topic? Yeah, death in the realms of existence. 9? Yeah, especially. So 5 and 8 are commentaries on that book, the Abhidharma Kosha, all right, which is in the topic of Abhidharma. And we study it through the book written by Master Vasubandhu in the Vaibhashika school, which is a subdivision of Hinayana, which is a subdivision of Buddhism. Yeah, cool. All right, good. What if I want to get good at Sautrantika? Where would I go in the materials most easily available to us in this room if I wanted to become a master of Sautrantika? 13 or 4 would also do nicely. Yeah, 4 and 13 are both taught from the perspective of Sautrantika, right, of which the most famous author is Master Dharmakirti. Yeah, cool. What if I want to get good at the art of interpretation? Got to do course 15. Guess what book we study in course 15? Changne Lekshen Yingbo, the Essence of Eloquence and the Art of Interpretation. What if I want to get great at the perfection of wisdom? 2. Yeah, course 2 on refuge, Buddhist refuge. Okay. And then middle way is Diamond Cutter. It's your Bodhisattva vows. And 10, 11, and 12, which is Master Shantideva. Rather, Guide to a Bodhisattva's Way of Life. Okay, so I guess courses 1 and 3 and 14 aren't up here? Yeah, Lamrim's not up there, right? Lamrim's all of these. All of these are in the Lamrim. Okay, that's part of why the Lamrim's so beautiful. Everything got included in the Lamrim. All right, so all the great schools are there. So, Buddhism's divided into Hinayana, Mahayana. What are the 4 great schools? Two great schools of Hinayana. Vaibhashika and Cool. And the great schools of Mahayana? Yeah, Chittamatra, Madhyamika. Cool. Who's the most famous teacher of the Abhidharma school? Master Vasubandhu. Who's the most famous teacher of the Sautrantika school? Dharmakirti. Who's the most famous teacher of the mind-only school? Yeah, Asanga, working for Maitreya. Good. Who's the most famous teacher of the Madhyamika school? I think you gotta say Nagarjuna. Yeah, I'm on his side. But what about this? Yeah, well, Arya Nagarjuna is the middle way guy. But if you're specializing in middle way, meaning you want to get middle way right, okay, then you go to the topic called middle way, which is taught by Master Chandrakirti, as opposed to the Svatantrika school, which is taught by yeah, Bhava Viveka, Master Bhava Viveka. Okay, so what's the name of the topic in the monastery when I'm in, two topics, when I'm in the monastery and I'm studying the Vaibhashika school, what topics am I studying? Vowed morality, or Abhidharma in English? Vinaya is vowed morality or higher knowledge, which is Abhidharma. Treasure House of Higher Knowledge is the book, right? The topic, you could just say, oh, I'm studying Abhidharma. There are other Abhidharma books. But the Treasure House of Higher Knowledge is the one that we use to study it. If I want to, if I'm in the monastery, how do I know if someone is working on the topic that Master Dharmakirti is most famous for? Yeah, you'd say, hey, you studying Pramana, man? Yeah, I'm studying Pramana. It's rough. Okay. And mind only, what's the topic called through which we study mind only? Yeah, art of interpretation. Now, I noticed also, if you look in the division of the ACI courses, you will see that categorized under perfection of wisdom also. Okay? For more about how that works, go bug your teacher sometime. And then if I am studying Svatantrika, okay, what topic will I tell you I'm studying in the monastery as a monk? Yeah, Parchin, I'm going to say I'm studying perfection of wisdom. Oh, I'm on Parchin, man, studying perfection of wisdom. You say, oh, Svatantrika. And if I'm finally on to the highest part of the middle way, Chandrakirti, what topic will I say I'm on? I'll just say middle way. I won't say higher middle way. I'll just say, oh, middle way, man. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Okay? What's the name of the book through which we study vowed morality? Yeah, the Vinaya Sutra by Gunaprabha. Yeah, what about the book through which we study higher knowledge? The Treasure House of Higher Knowledge by Master Vasubandhu. What about valid perception? If I'm studying that, what book am I studying? The Commentary to Valid Perception, the Pramanavartika by Master Dharmakirti. If I'm studying the art of interpretation, what book am I probably studying in the monastery? Yeah, The Essence of Eloquence and the Art of Interpretation by Tsongkhapa. If I'm studying the perfection of wisdom, what book am I studying? Abhisamailankara, the ornament of realization by Maitreya, thanks to Asanga. And if I'm studying middle way, what book am I studying? Entering the middle way, right. Now, I've also heard those called the Tsasum, the three roots. There are books you'll find in the monastery of the three roots where they memorize entering the middle way, Abhidharma Kosha, and the Abhisamailankara. And you'll find those bound together in a single volume in the book because you're supposed to have all those memorized. Not me, though. So ACI course 2 would get me really good at what topic? Yeah, but what formal topic? Perfection of wisdom, you see. What book is that a commentary on? It is a commentary on the Abhisamailankara. If I'm studying course 13, what topic am I getting really good at? I'm getting really good at the topic of pramana. What book would I be studying in reference to? Pramana Vartika, okay. And if I'm studying course 6, what topic am I in? Middle way, right? Could be either middle way school? No, it's got to be higher middle way school. Completely agree. Okay, cool. All right, you did it. You survived, all right? So we had an issue last time we were together, all right? We talked about what makes someone a Buddhist, what makes someone not a Buddhist, okay? And again, show of hands, how many people were here for that? Yeah, I glossed over something very quickly last time and hoped that you didn't notice. The book said, a view on our own school would be that anyone which involves, okay, all or some number of these 4 seals is a view that is Buddhist. Okay, so these 4 seals in a text is what made a text Buddhist, all right? And I didn't know much about them. So I'm really lucky, and I'm in this exciting translator course, which Nick runs and helps us friends get together and study with Geshe Michael. And I have the advantage of being able to go to him and saying, Geshe Michael, I don't know if anyone noticed, but I was a little embarrassed that I couldn't give much detail on something that seemed so important that Choni Lama said, this is what makes you a Buddhist or not a Buddhist. And I didn't give you a lot of detail. So is there any chance, Geshe Michael, we could go and get some detail on that? And he kindly assented. And so we spent some time on that, and we wrote a big fat appendix and spent a whole term doing nothing but working on what these 4 seals are. Okay, so we're going to do it. We're going to do it together. Is there a clock type thing that I could use so that I don't run you over? That's a thing. Can I borrow that? We're going to try to do it. So we're going to try to quickly do all 4. And that's what I'm really scared about for the translators. 1540. What? That means 340? Yeah, okay. Does it? Okay, all right, good, see? I don't know that, I'm American. Okay, here. So, without further ado, Appendix A, okay? Geshe Michael and Ben's Appendix A on the 4 seals as an addendum to the text, Essence of All Schools of Philosophy, all right? Say Chakya, Shi. Chakya, Shi. Shi means 4. I have this problem whenever we do the picture at DCI, right? And we all do this, and I just it takes all of my willpower in the world not to do this or this. You see, because I'm a troublemaker. Okay. But now I'm excited, okay, about this mudra again, okay, because I'm thinking 4 seals, okay, that's what I'm working on, the 4 seals, okay, Chakya? Shi. Chakya means seal, we'll get there, all right? So, in the text, it was called Katak, say Katak, Ki, Chakya, Shi. Katak, Ki, Chakya, Shi. This is the 4 seals which certify a teaching is the word, okay? We have a thing in America called the USDA, and they brand meat, and they sear meat with this symbol, okay, that says this meat is okay to eat. I think they have a low standard, okay? But, so this is the 4 things that you sear into a teaching, okay, that mark a teaching as, the word, okay, with a capital W, meaning the word of the Buddha, meaning Buddhist, okay? So these are 4 things that mark a teaching as Buddhist, okay? You will also sometimes hear it called Kartak Shi. Say Kartak Shi. Kartak Shi. That's Naimitavid Chaturmudra in Sanskrit. I won't make you say that. Cool. You will also hear them sometimes called, say Chuki. Domshi. Chuki Domshi. The 4 summaries of the Dharma is what we're saying, and I think this is kind of cool. Okay, it's another name for the 4 seals, okay, or the 4 seals which certify a teaching as the word, okay. The 4 summaries of the Dharma, meaning this is like a distillation, a summary of the whole kit and caboodle, of the whole deal, okay, of all of Buddhism. Yeah, kit and caboodle's fine. Okay, great. A summary of all Buddhism in 4 steps, okay? Chuki Domshi, all right? So according to the Great Dictionary, we looked it up. All these things mean the same thing. Refer to the same 4. Don't you want to know what the 4 are? Okay, that's the spirit. In Choni Lama's commentary to the Ornament of Realization, which is written by... The Ornament of Realization, in Choni Lama's commentary, which is written by... The Ornament of Realization is written by who? Lord Maitreya. What school are we in when we're studying the Ornament of Realization? Yes, Svatantrika. Good for you. Yeah. Perfection of wisdom. Okay. He says, these 4 seals must be present in order to mark a philosophical view as Buddhist. Gotta be. Okay? Say, Duje, Tamche, Mitakpa. Say, Sakche, Tamche, Dungyawa. Say, Che Tamche, Dongxing, Dagmeba. Say, Nyangyen Le Depa, Shiwao. Cool. All caused things are impermanent. All impure things are suffering. All things are empty and lack any self-nature. And nirvana is peace. So we've been studying, for those of us who have studied for a while, we could kind of fudge it, you know? Like these all sound sort of familiar, but I was fuzzy on how they hang together, all right? So that was kindly something that Geshe Michael spent time with us on. As a quick note, is it just texts or is it also people? It seems to me, according to Choni Lama's Cloud of Offerings, which Pleases the Wise, that's the name of the book, he says, the non-Buddhists lack these views that all caused things are impermanent, impure things are suffering, all things are empty and lack self-nature, and nirvana is peace. The non-Buddhists lack those 4 seals. No other teacher or teaching keeps to these 4 points of view. That's why we say that these 4 seals mark a view as Buddhist, okay? So since nobody who isn't Buddhist accepts these 4, okay, we say that they make a text Buddhist. So it also makes people Buddhist, okay, if you believe these 4. What's a seal? Say mudra, chakya, chakya, mudra, seal. Good for you. Okay. So it's the one on the right, not the one on the left. Okay. The quotation we found, the subjects of any particular king must not overstep the commands which bear his seal. Similarly, no one who has taken up the teachings of the Buddha may overstep the 4 seals. If they do, then they are taking a position which is antithetical to that of the Buddha. That's why we call them the 4 seals. So, if the king has a seal, right, like that guy right there, and that I found that on the Googles, okay, that gray one, that is a king's seal. So he would put that on a document, okay, or in wax or something of the like, and then you would compare that and see, he'd send it out to his general, and the general would look and see if it matched. And if it matched, then he had to do whatever that letter said. And if it didn't match, then he shouldn't do it, okay? So that's a seal, all right? Here we go. Seal number 1. Yay. All right, good. Duje? Tamche? Mitakpa. Duje, Tamche? Mitakpa. Duje, Tamche? Duje, Tamche, Mitakpa. If by any miracle, by the end of this, you know the 4 seals in English or Tibetan or both, either would be extraordinary. Okay? Duje, Tamche? Mitakpa. All caused things are impermanent. Okay? All caused things are impermanent. All right? So, what do we mean by that? What is it again in Tibetan? Duje, Tamche, Mitakpa. Yeah, good. Okay. We got to talk about what we mean by duje. Okay? Duje. Duje is short for Gyu Dang Kien Du Ne Je Be Che, meaning, okay, things which are brought about by the coming together of causes and conditions, okay? So it's not just the seed, it's the seed and the soil and the sun and the water, and some people say you should talk to your plants, all right? All of those things coming together, okay? When all of those things come together, okay, what comes out of there is duje, okay? That's what we mean when we say duje, okay? So what about a duje thing? Well, it's impermanent. Oh, we're going to get there. What do we mean by impermanent? Let's talk about it, okay? Because there's a famous complaint, and we're going to do some debates, all right? So there's this book called A Lamp Which Illuminates the Hidden Meaning by Konchok Tenbe Dröme. And he gives us arguments. Okay, so the listener school, in theory, which one of those schools, you tell me, which one of those schools accepts the four seals of the four great schools? All of them. Why? Because they're Buddhist, man. Okay, so the people under the line, the eternalists, the guys who believe in things that are silly that they shouldn't, and the nihilists, the guys who don't believe in things that they should, they don't count. The non-Buddhists don't count. But the Buddhists, all of them believe these four seals, okay? So, does the middle way believe the four seals? Darn tootin' we do, okay? Does the listener school agree that we accept the four seals or do a good job of accepting the four seals? That's what we're going to get into. Here's their complaint, okay? They say, the greater way, the Mahayana, contradicts the word of the Buddha, says the listener school, the lower school, okay? By saying that all cause things are impermanent. Why? Because we, Mahayana, say that a Buddha stays in his paradise forever, okay? Is it true? Does a Buddha stay in his paradise forever? Okay, so I guess he's not impermanent then, right? I think you want a Kalmajung, but why? So, I don't know. What do you think? What do you say to this guy if we're so clever? Depends on what you mean by impermanent. That's one way to go, okay? For the record, here's where he gets that impression, okay? We grabbed this from Sarah Jetson Chuki Gilson, okay? He says, 5 definite qualities of a Buddha. 1, they always hang out in a place called the Massive Clouds. 2, the beings there are fixed, okay? They're always realized beings who are warrior saints, okay? They're always super badass practitioners like yourself, okay? 3, that body of a Buddha only speaks, okay, the teachings of the greater way. 4, the appearance of the body is fixed because they always have all the signs and marks of an enlightened being. And 5, this is the one we were looking for, okay? The duration is fixed, meaning it will last until the cycle of pain is emptied of living beings. So is that permanent? I say it's not, okay? And one way that I would argue with the listener school is say, look, we didn't say forever, we just said until the cycle is emptied of living beings, right? As soon as the cycle, I'm repeating, as soon as the cycle is emptied of living beings, then where does a Buddha go? Not clear from here, okay? All right, so we've got out of it on that count. They're laughing on what a disaster this is. I thought you were going to translate. I was going to give you such a hard time, but now I have to be nice to them. Man, okay. I was thinking that they were making a distinction that Nick brought up, okay, between gross and subtle impermanence, okay? So what's gross impermanence? Yeah, stuff breaks, I break, you break, you know, we get born, we get, you know, a little bit older, and then we get crusty, and then we die. Okay, that's gross impermanence, all right? That's not, it's not a big secret that only Buddhists knew about, that people seem to die. That's not a special knowledge of the greater way. It's not a special knowledge of Buddhism, okay? Stuff breaks, stuff runs out, okay? What is a special knowledge? Yeah, subtle impermanence, the idea that there is no instant in which a caused thing hasn't changed, okay? There's no smallest moment that you could possibly conceive of in which a thing hasn't undergone some change, that in every instant and every part of an instant, and every part of a part of a part of an instant that a thing has changed, okay? That's special to us. That's special to our school. So do we say that Buddhas change in that way? Do we say that a Buddha, their paradise body, is changing in every instant of an instant of an instant? Yeah, we do, okay? So we're good. As far as I'm concerned, we're cool here, okay? We don't need to take their trouble. Are we really on to the second? Let's do it. Okay, so just to be clear, all right, what I think is especially profound for us, all right? So what's the first seal again? All caused things are impermanent. What's the, among the caused things that we're most freaked out about the impermanence of? We're not that freaked out about Buddhas because we barely believe in them. But I believe in me. I believe I'm a thing. And that the idea that in every single instant, this is changing, okay? Because causes and conditions are coming together to create this, you see? What causes and conditions? Well, we can talk about where my mind came from. We can talk about where my body came from. But in every instant, there's the beautiful food that I ate today in the Jetson Center. I had salad and egg and cheese, and I didn't drink enough water. And that has an effect. I need to drink more water while I'm here. That's a condition, right? It's not a cause, but it's a condition. And everything going into what's making me up right now has some impact on the way I'm changing in every tiny little bit of an instant, okay? Everything coming together, all of these causes and conditions coming into who you are in this little moment, you see? Always in flux, all right? That's a more subtle impermanence. So let's do the second seal, all right? And then we better find a way to relate them. Say Sakche, Tamche, Dungyawa. Sakche, Tamche, Dungyawa. Sakche, Tamche, Dungyawa. Sakche, Tamche, Dungyawa. All impure things are suffering. All impure things are suffering. What's impure mean? We better talk about it. I was a little fuzzy on it, okay? So we went digging. Well, this guy, Master of Vasubandhu, okay, says in the Abhidharmakosha, with the exception of the path, all caused things are impure because it is in those things that impurities flourish. Okay, so what does that mean? What's covered here? Almost everything that we just mentioned, okay? What stuff is suffering? Almost everything that we just mentioned in terms of things that are coming about as a result of causes and conditions. Pretty much all of that except like the path, meaning realizations. You see? Realizations destroy stains, okay? So they're not stained, all right? Wisdom destroys stain. Okay, so wisdom itself, okay, is not stained. Realizations of wisdom itself, okay, those aren't stained. But basically everything else that's coming about as a result of causes and conditions, stained. All right, stained stuff, okay? What's our problem with stained stuff? It hurts, yeah, well put. Yeah, exactly, hurts, okay? Hurts how? Oh, this is just this is a stain upon our causes and conditions. Okay, I don't know if that's necessary. Okay, what's staining it, by the way? Well, yeah, our being born is stained. Why is our being born stained? Yeah, I think karma and kleshas, karma and mental afflictions. I think that's what you would have to say, right? Dirty deeds and dirty thoughts. Dirty deeds and dirty thoughts done dirt cheap. Okay. Are a stain upon the causes, are a stain upon the conditions, and so the thing resulting from it that's unfolding in this moment, instant by instant by instant by instant by sub-instant, by part of that instant, by part of that instant, by part of that instant, has this gook on it, this schmutz, this stain upon it, okay, icky stuff upon it. Oh yeah, right, okay. The Yiddish came from Eastern Europe anyway, so schmutz should be okay. and thus leads to pain. All right? So, and not so much Chinese. Okay. So the schmutz, the stain upon these causes and conditions that's ever unfolding into who I happen to be in this moment, you see, is what's hurting me in this moment. 3 sufferings, we know the 3 sufferings, okay? Suffering of suffering, stuff hurts, okay? Basic toothache, okay? Suffering of suffering, okay? Suffering of change, represented here by a tragically melting bar of ice cream, okay? Good stuff runs out, okay? Even the good stuff runs out. Suffering of suffering is obvious. You punch me in the face and it hurts and I'm sad, okay? Suffering of change, less obvious. The awesome stuff that I have is running out, okay? Suffering of change. All pervasive suffering. What are the 4 elements? All pervasive suffering, who knows that? Keganachi. Birth, aging, sickness, and death, okay? Everybody goes through it. Birth, aging, sickness, and death, okay? So we're always going through these 3. We're going through these 3. Why? Because of the stain. Yeah, things are impure. Things are stained by karma and mental afflictions, okay? And they're ever unfolding. Things are ever unfolding in every moment by the causes and conditions coming together which have a stain upon them, which is resulting in pain. Got it? Cool. So, a complaint, again, from the listener school. You Mahayanists say, how could anyone in the know get discouraged when things keep progressing from good to great? Okay? Who would ever say such a silly thing? Well, Master Shantideva said that in the Guide to a Bodhisattva's Way of Life. So we can't disavow it. We can't say that we don't agree because we like that guy a lot, all right? They say, look, you broke the seal which states that all impure things are suffering when you say that a bodhisattva, okay, who is not yet realized, could have a blissful existence. So Master Shantideva says, hey, enjoy the Mahayana path. It just keeps getting better and better and better. It's a blast. It's great. It's fantastic, okay? And the listeners are like, hey, come on. What happened to like all stained things, which is pretty much all caused things, hurt a bunch and kind of suck, okay? You guys are breaking the seal. So what are we going to say to them? It's the path, man. Oh, it's the path. Well, what about a bodhisattva who has not yet reached the direct perception of emptiness? Are there cessations before you see emptiness directly? Yeah, seems like, right? I don't know. I mean, I think that's an interesting, for example, is the wish a path? Yeah, I think you could say that. I think you could say that too. I mean, so here's an argument we're going to make, okay? Is it true that everything is suffering, all right? And this is a debate, and I feel this is a debate that came up a lot over our years at Diamond Mountain, okay? Is it true that absolutely everything is suffering? Why did I choose this example? I like ice cream, okay? It's nice, all right? It melts, but isn't it nice though? Okay? All right, I'm sorry there's a lot of text, but it's just so cool is the problem, okay? So I'm sorry it's a lot of text, but it's so cool. I was really turned on by this because this sounded like a lot of debates that we have had over the years, okay? And I never saw this in Scripture, okay? So Losang Trinli Namgyal says, look, when we think about suffering in general, okay, or more particular cases, we have to admit, okay, that there are some beings here in the cycle of pain who experience suffering directly and others who suffer in an indirect way, okay? And yet, no matter how great a pleasure we'll feel here in the cycle, it always turns to pain. And so happiness here in the cycle is never something that lasts, okay? And it lacks any real essence. This is the way we're supposed to think about it. Still, he says, okay? Still, he says, and now he gets me excited. If you debate it, right, you may have some hard time trying to hold the position that every single thing cycle is suffering, okay? I mean, is an ice cream cone suffering? Depends. So everything is suffering, right? Everything in the cycle is suffering, right? Except the path, maybe, right? Okay, so an ice cream cone is the path? Really? That's what you're going to try sometimes. An ice cream cone, generally speaking, we say an ice cream cone is not a realization. It's not a state of mind, right? Okay, cool. So an ice cream cone is suffering? Okay. So could we divide the experience of ice cream cone up into the part where I'm enjoying it and the part where it fails to last? Like the first 5 minutes. Like the suffering of the ice cream cone is the fact that it runs out. So I'm pissed because the good thing ran out, right? It hurts because the good thing ran out, right? So there was a good thing that ran out? It seems like you'd have to say that. And here's a beautiful debater saying, yeah, it seems like you'd have to say that, but as a debater, it also wouldn't make sense to say, okay, that there's any definite happiness in the cycle, okay? You can make a debate. He says, look, you can make a debate, right? Things which are the suffering of change. Chen, okay? Consider things which are the suffering of change. They're nice, because they're nice things which run out. That is the suffering of change, okay? So how are you going to say nothing's nice if you define this thing that's not nice as nice things which run out, okay? You got to admit it. Still, okay, everyone in the three realms, okay, is tormented by all three sufferings, okay? The predominant feeling of being in the cycle is pain, okay? He says an interesting thing. Those at concentration level 3, all right, and below are tormented by all pervasive suffering. Everyone in the desire realm has all three sufferings, okay, he says. If you're at concentration level 3, all right, then you have broken free of the suffering of suffering. You just have the suffering of change. Okay, your body feels great, all right? Your mind feels great, but you still have the suffering of change that will still run out. Okay, you will still get sick, you will still get old, you will still die, okay? Those at the 4th concentration level apparently only have all-pervasive suffering, okay? But all these guys still have suffering, all right? This is straight from Lord Buddha. He says, and this is a beautiful quotation. He says, hell beings are tortured by hellfire, craving spirits by hunger and thirst. Animals are tortured by eating each other, and humans by the pain of getting hurt. The gods are tormented by mindlessness. There is no happiness upon the tip of this needle, the cycle of pain. Okay. So Lord Buddha seems to be consistent in that mostly it sucks to be in the cycle. Okay. By the way, a cool note, we found an alternate version of this where there was an alternate reading. For humans, we struggled with this. The main pain of being human is getting hurt. Well, I don't necessarily relate to that, but we found an alternate reading. When I went and looked this book up in the Kangyur, it said humans are tortured by the pain of constantly chasing their desires. Like, okay, now that sounds like me. That sounds right. that hits home. Okay. 3rd seal. Here we go. Okay, so far so good. You're disappointed we're on the 3rd seal? No. Okay. All right, 3rd seal. Say Che Tamche, Tong, Xing, Dagmeba. Che Tamche, Dong Xing, Dagmeba. All things are empty and lack any self-nature. All things are empty and lack every self-nature. What was the 1st seal? What about impermanence? All caused things are impermanent. Yeah. All caused things are... 2nd seal? All impure things are suffering. 3rd seal? All things are empty and lack any self-nature. Okay, let's do it. So, how do I get out of the mess? Okay, so we established, okay, that all changing things are, all caused things are impermanent. Okay, changing instant to instant to instant to instant. Okay, and there's a stain upon them. I'm suffering. So how do I get out of that? We just talked about in the desire realm, you have all of the sufferings. Okay, in the 3rd concentration level, you have 2 of them. In the 4th concentration level, you still have all pervasive suffering. What if I want to get out of all of them. Okay, same text where he's discussing the different levels. He says, everyone in the desire realm is tortured by the three sufferings. At concentration level 3 and below, all pervasive suffering, okay, and the suffering of change. At the fourth concentration level and above, only all pervasive suffering, all right? So, there are non-Buddhists, he says, all right, who, there are no non-Buddhists, he says, okay. What he's saying here, what I wanted to point out here, okay, is he says, there are no non-Buddhists who break free from attachment, all right? Why do I point out non-Buddhists? Okay, because do Hindus get to the fourth concentration level? Yeah, we say they do, okay? The Buddhists say that non-Buddhists can do that, okay? So there are extraordinary meditators who get to that level, and you don't have to be a Buddhist to get to that level. So a non-Buddhist could, according to us, break free from 2 of the 3 sufferings, but they're still gonna have birth, aging, sickness, and death, okay? They didn't get out of those. So Kedar Chenpa Dorje says, all right, there are no non-Buddhists who break free from attachment. To do this, all right, how do we do it? We got to know how to do it. You have to come to a realization that its nature, the nature of attachment, is suffering. For that, you have to come to a realization of subtle impermanence, which is not a realization that non-Buddhists achieve. And so once you realize that the parts of a person we took on at birth are impermanent, you go on to realize that they are suffering at the mercy of your previous actions and mental afflictions. Based on that, you come to see things are empty. And from that, you see that things have no nature of being separate. We'll talk about it. So he's showing a progression. Look, it's happening. It's happening. He's starting to tie the seals together, all right? From coming to understand. What's the first seal? All things brought about by the coming together of causes and conditions are impermanent, are changing in every single instant, okay? But there's a stain upon that, all right? And that stain is unfolding into suffering, okay? But coming to understand that impermanence, okay? Who are you right now? I mean, who are you right now? Like, try to set your finger on who you are right now. If you just think about the first seal, it's a very uncomfortable question to answer. You see, I don't know. I'm this ever-unfolding, ever-changing thing. All of my causes and conditions, which are constantly changing themselves, are leading to me, which is constantly changing. And for me to even say, who am I in this instant? Over the course of this instant, it has changed. And you mean this in this part of this instant, and it has changed. And in this part of an instant, who I am, who I feel myself to be, has changed. So who am I in this moment, you see? And your suffering is like that. You have to come to see that your suffering is like that. You have to understand the nature of your suffering, that it is also unfolding in every instant from causes and conditions coming together in every instant. And again, recreating us in pain in every moment, you see? And only by understanding that, all right? He says, can you come to see that things have no nature of being separate? Guesses on what we mean by nature of being separate? Yeah, you would think. I would have struggled with this if I didn't have a teacher to tell me stuff. He means separate in a mind-only sense, okay? Yeah, one seed, right, separate seed, meaning that the world that you're seeing, okay, is not separate from your seeing the world in any given moment, okay? So, by realizing number 1, which is the first seal, by realizing the first seal, that all cause things, okay, are passing away in every single instant, okay, especially as it applies to our bodies and minds, okay, then you come to see number 2, okay, that all of our suffering, okay, is caused by this stain, okay, of harmful deeds, okay, and thoughts upon the causes that are ever recreating our bodies and minds in every moment, okay? And thus 3, okay? that things have no self-nature since they are merely the result of the causes and conditions which are constantly reproducing them in every moment. Okay, you can't find that real me in pain, an ultimate me in pain in every moment, because it's just a stain upon this ever unfolding thing that you can't ever quite perfectly put your finger on. Master Dharmakirti says, okay, that's why Lord Buddha taught that from impermanence comes suffering, and from suffering comes the lack of any self-nature, okay? Meaning, from understanding, you see, impermanence, comes the understanding of how suffering works. And from understanding how suffering works, okay, comes an understanding of lack of self-nature, all right? So to understand the first seal leads you to the second seal, leads you to the third seal. This is nice. Lord Buddha does it for us again. He's going to tie the three together again, okay? All caused things must end, says Lord Buddha. Okay, all caused things must end, says Lord Buddha. They are unstable, he says, unreliable, he says, and ever shifting. All caused things will break. Be tired of them. Stop wanting them. He says, when you realize that they are something you must escape, you are ready then to start thinking of the parts that you took on at birth as nothing other than impermanent, suffering, emptiness, things with no self-nature. And once you have had such thoughts that these parts are impermanent and painful and empty and devoid of any nature of their own, then you will reach the highest goal of entering the stream. He says that just the perception that these things are truly impermanent, just understanding subtle impermanence, is enough to smash the 20 peaks of the mountains of the view of the perishable collection with the diamond hammer of your wisdom, okay? So he's painting the way for us. And this is, you see, this is why I like the alternate term for the four seals, which is the four summaries of the Dharma. He's given us four, okay? These four make a teaching Buddhist. If they're not there, then it's not Buddhist. But these four also sum up all of Buddhist teachings, okay? What about the detailist school, okay? Do they accept a self-nature or not, okay? I mean, we give a hard time to the lower schools. So do the lower schools believe in self-nature? They don't believe in self-nature. Even the lower schools, aren't we always making fun of them and say, hey, they're implying a self-nature? Well, but you're telling me that they don't accept a self-nature. Teacher.
Because they understand something different in the God, so they see another non-existence than higher.
I mean, you know, a really tight way to do it, right? You could just say, because they're Buddhist, man. You see? They're Buddhist. It is, well, it's not circular. I mean, do we accept them as a Buddhist school? Okay. Do we say that all Buddhist schools accept that all things are empty and lack of self? We do. I promise we do. That's what he just said in the book. Okay? So, do the detailists accept a self-nature? They must not accept a self-nature, okay? And that's true because no one who's a Buddhist, okay, as Kedrup Tempa Darge points out, okay, none of us who accept the Buddha as our teacher can step beyond the view that caused things are impermanent, that impure things are suffering, that all the things there are empty and lack self-nature, and that nirvana is peace. Okay? So he said it just to clarify for us right here. All right? By the way, this is cute. He says, you can't say that the detailists, all right, think that people have a self-nature, even though they say things, okay, that seem to imply it. They do say we don't believe in a self-nature. So if you say, I don't believe in a self-nature, I can accuse you of implying a self-nature, but you're good. As long as you say you don't accept a self-nature, we let you in the Buddhist club. So that's nice, all right? As long as you agree to the four seals out loud, you're trying to hold to the four seals, we let you in the Buddhist club, all right? So, another complaint from the listener school, all right? You Mahayanists, you say there's an essence of those gone to bliss, which pervades every living being. You are basically proclaiming a self-nature, and thus breaking the seal which says that nothing in the universe possesses any nature of its own, right? Don't we say this? Don't we say that there is some essence at the heart of every single being, everything, okay? At the heart of it all is this essence of the Buddhas that pervades all. So, did we break the third seal? Why not? We use a word to describe something. I like it, okay? Hey, listeners, okay? Do you accept the third seal? Do the listeners accept the third seal? Are they going to say that they accept the third seal? Okay, because that third seal, your third seal is your Buddha nature, man, okay? The fact that there's nothing in you in this moment that is keeping you from being a Buddha, okay? And the fact that there is nothing in you in this moment, okay, that's not an ever unfolding result of all these causes and conditions coming together, and you are forced in this moment to see yourself a certain way, the fact that there ain't no other kind of you, see, is the reason why you can be a totally different kind of you. So look, you guys who complain about a Buddha nature, if you accept the third seal, you accept Buddha nature, because that is the third seal. That is the third seal. The only reason you can get out of pain is because you're empty. You lack a self-nature. You lack a self which is getting in the way of you being a Buddha. Fourth seal? Okay. Saying Nyang'en le Deba. Nyang'en le Deba. Shiwao. Nyang'en le Deba. Shiwao. Nirvana is peace. Okay? Nirvana is peace. What's the first seal? All caused things are impermanent. It eventually came out of all of your mouths. Okay? All caused things are impermanent. Second seal? All impure things are suffering. Third seal? Yeah. Right. All things are empty and lack a self. Okay? Or lack a self-nature. All right? Fourth seal. Nirvana is peace. Okay? So peace. Peace from what? All right, let's talk about it. What's the definition of nirvana? Here, I'll do this. Anyone in Tibetan? Yeah, right, good. Yeah, cool. There were at least two in the room. See, it's like, why would you even bother asking that, Ben? But two people in the room did it in Tibetan for the record, okay? Say Nyundrup, Malupar, Bangbe, Sosor, Tangok, Nyangde, Gitseni. This is one of those things that like dorks memorized in course 2, okay? And it stuck forever, all right? Definition of nirvana. A cessation which comes from individual analysis and which consists of having eliminated the negative emotion obstacles in their entirety. So, peace. Could we say that it means peace from mental afflictions? Okay? Seems like. And we found a book by a guy named Dharmamitra, all right, called Verses of Perfect Clarity, where he says, from the definition thus given, we can say that the Sanskrit word nirvana, okay, which is derived from roots meaning to blow out a flame, refers to putting a stop to the fire which results from our past actions and negative emotions. So pretty good, okay? Pretty good. But what about this? If I wanted to say that karma and mental afflictions are what we get peace from, it seems like I could make a good argument. What if I wanted to say that karma and mental afflictions come from what? Yeah, what's the cause of karma and mental afflictions? What are all my mental afflictions coming from? Yeah, misunderstanding. I like it. So could I say that nirvana is peace from misunderstanding instead, if I wanted to? Looks like we can. All right? We also find support for that point of view. If we wanted to say that nirvana means peace, okay, nirvana is peace, all right, means peace from misunderstanding. Jayananda, in his commentary to Entering the Middle Way, seems to agree. He says it's called peace because when we achieve it, all mistaken perceptions have been put to rest. okay? Master Jnana Shribhadra says, it's called peace because for one who is all-knowing, all mental elaboration about the way that things happen in dependence is put to rest. Okay, so we have two views of what peace could be. Okay, peace could be stopping mental afflictions. Okay, could be stopping misunderstanding. Okay, so if misunderstanding is what leads to mental afflictions and bad actions, then what about the result of those, which is suffering? Couldn't peace just be freedom from suffering? Also seem to find that idea supported. Master Dharmakirti Shri says, it is nirvana, traveling beyond all grief, and so peace, okay, for all our suffering has been put to rest, okay? So it means all of these, all right? It means you don't have crappy thoughts. It means you don't see things wrong. It means you're not in pain, all right? All right, the listeners want to get their digs in. They're going to make a complaint, okay? And this tells you something about what they think peace means. You Mahayanists, you've done it again, all right? You broke the seal which says that nirvana is peace by saying who has reached nirvana should choose to come back to the cycle, should choose to return to a birth in the cycle of pain. The whole point, okay? You're saying, you Mahayanists, would we ever say that? Would we say that someone would choose to take birth in the cycle of pain once they've reached nirvana? Yeah, totally, we do. In the White Lotus Sutra, okay? Lord Buddha says, hey, you shouldn't go to nirvana now. Seek instead the way of the Buddhas, okay? So don't blame me, blame Lord Buddha, okay? Do we say that? Yeah, it looks like we say that, all right? So the whole point, says the listener school, to the Mahayanists, the whole point of reaching nirvana, okay, nirvana is peace, is that you don't take birth again. The stream of misunderstanding is cut off. The same way that the flame of a butter lamp is extinguished. You're saying, I'm supposed to come back and take birth again? That's not peace, man. Okay? What do you think? What do you have to say to that? I don't know. You debate it first. Oh, yeah, lower nirvana. Yeah, sounds good to me. Okay? So, lower nirvana. There's a cute name for the higher nirvana. Yeah, the nirvana which does not stay, okay? And we get a definition of it. So what's lower nirvana? In lower nirvana, you've eliminated all of your mental afflictions or all of your mental affliction obstacles. In higher nirvana, you've also gotten rid of all of your obstacles to omniscience, okay? And in that state, right, you can hang out in your Buddha paradise and you can appear next to Ben in the line at the coffee shop when Ben's impatient to get a coffee and he wants to hurry up and get home so that Kendra doesn't say, you stuck me with the baby too long. But I just want to get a coffee real quick. But the guy in front of me is taking a long time. Could he be a Buddha just taking a long time to teach me something? Could be, okay? And at the same time, the Buddha is hanging out in their paradise. Kedrup Tempa Dargaya says, the definition of a nirvana which does not stay, okay, does not stay either in the pain of the cycle or, you see, just the peace of nirvana, okay? It is a cessation which comes from individual analysis and which consists of having eliminated both kinds of obstacles in their entirety. A classical example would be the truth of cessation in the mental stream of a realized being who is a Buddha. So our defense is that, look, man, that text is talking about Buddhas, okay, and they don't stay in either place, okay? They don't stay in either place. They hang out in both, all right? They teach 10th level bodhisattvas in their paradise, and they come and deal with the likes of Ben in the cycle to help him out as he so richly needs, okay? Secret Four Seals. All right, yeah, hubba hubba. All right. Let's see, this is just the point in the talk where we have to wake people up, right? Jetson Kappa talks about a Secret Four Seals. I'm going to mention them briefly, okay? We won't go into a lot of detail, but so that you know that it's a different thing. If someone says, oh, you mean the sea of ritual, which is a normal human woman, and the sea of pledge, which is a goddess in meditation, and the seal of the Dharma, which is meditation on a mantra, on secret words in a circle, or the great seal, seeing yourself as an angel, we would say, nope, I don't mean that. Okay? There's also a book, okay, by Arya Nagarjuna called The Four Seals, okay, or by Acharya Nagarjuna called The Four Seals. Bhutan Rinpoche says this is not the same Nagarjuna, but so you know, there's a book out there and we're not talking about that either. All right, so yes, there's a book out there, and if someone says, oh, you mean the book by Arya Nagarjuna, and you'll say, well, according to Bhutan Rinpoche, that's not the same Nagarjuna anyway, okay, is what you'll say to them. Okay, when that person on the bus says, oh, do you mean the book called The Four Seals? Okay, let's talk about the Four Seals and the wish. All right, and then we're almost there, all right? Mercifully, you just about made it. One last time, Chani Lama says, there are no Buddhist schools of philosophy which deny the Four Seals, which mark a Buddhist teaching as the word, okay? You were going to take a picture of that, and then I changed it real quick, didn't I? You got it now. Okay. The third Panchen Lama says something very beautiful, all right? He says, these viewpoints, together with the method side of the teaching, the attitude of wanting to reach enlightenment for the sake of others, include every stage of the path of the greater way, the path which is complete and unmistaken, unstained and flawless in its logical consistency. And we teach this path to the disciple and guide them along it, okay? So the Four Seals is accepted by all Buddhists, okay? If you want to go Mahayana, you just got to add one thing, you see? The Four Seals that we've covered now, all right? What's the first one? All cause things are impermanence, meaning all things which come about as the result of the coming together of causes and conditions are impermanent. Number two, all impure things are suffering, okay? There's a stain upon those causes and conditions, okay, which are resulting into pain in every moment. Okay, number three, all things are empty and lack a self-nature. That ever unfolding you, okay, that ever unfolding you, the stain upon it that's ripening into suffering, that you in pain in this moment you don't have a nature to have to suffer in that way, okay? And the fourth one? Yeah, nirvana is peace, okay? There is a way to stop that pain. There is a peace from that pain. There's a peace from the misunderstanding that leads to that pain. There's a peace from the karma and mental afflictions which lead to that pain. Those four, plus bodhicitta, are all... Hinayana path is totally encapsulated, totally summarized by those four. And the Mahayana path, you just add that one more, okay? Which is the teaching, of the method side of the teaching, which is learning to make that aspiration and to act in line with that aspiration, that I should become a being who can help other people out of suffering, okay? That I should become that being, that we should become those sorts of beings, that wish, and the actions that we do to fulfill that wish. Put those with the Four Seals, and you've got all of Buddhism, okay? Lord Buddha finally says, cause things must end. Know this. Know it completely, know it correctly, and just how it is. He says causes are pain. Know this. Know it completely. Know it correctly, and just how it is. He says the world is empty. Know this. Know it completely. Know it correctly, and just as it is. He says the world delights in fantasy. Know this. Know it completely. Know it correctly, and just as it is. Things happen only under conditions, he says. Know this. Know it completely. Know it correctly, and just as it is. He says going beyond misery is peace. Know this. Know it completely. Know it correctly, and just as it is. These things you will come to know by listening, by contemplating and meditating, but never just by the words themselves. Then, even once you know, you must toil, struggle, and strive to reach unshakable compassion for the good of every living being. What are the 4 seals again? Let's do it. Duje tamche mi takpa. All. Sakje tamche dungya wa. Che tamche tong shing dak meba. And nyangin le depa shiwao. Okay, thanks guys. Puki chukshing metok jam rirab lingshin yende kempadi sangye shingdu mikte uwargi dokun namdak shingla chuparsho idam guru radna mandalakam niryatayami Dikewokun Sanam Yeshe Tok Tok Shing Sanam Yeshe Lejung We Dampar Kunito Parsho.
First of all, thank you very much. And I'm very happy as your grandpa. So we have about 10 or 12 translators working in Sedona. We have 81 translators working in Shenzhen, China. So we have about 100 people on the team. And recently, Norbert from Austria, who's right